and welcome to York News, a brief look at what's new and what's happening in York County. I'm Gail Whitaker. Coming up on this edition of York News, we honor our veterans with a ceremony at York Hall.
Call order the York County Board of Supervisors.
Up first, the Board of Supervisors did not hold a meeting on the first Tuesday of this month because it was Election Day. The unofficial results have Terry McAuliffe elected governor, Ralph Northam elected lieutenant governor, and in the close attorney general race, Mark Herring has a slight lead over Mark Obenchain. For state delegate in the 91st district, Gordon Helsel was reelected. In the 93rd district, Monty Mason was chosen, and in the 96th district, Brenda Pogge was reelected. For more unofficial voting results, visit www.yorkcounty.gov/voting. The next meeting of the Board of Supervisors is scheduled for Tuesday, November 19th at 6 p.m. in the boardroom of York Hall. There are 7 public hearings on the agenda. A request for a special use permit to authorize private weddings and receptions for a fee as a business venture to be hosted on the premises of a bed and breakfast operation at 4201 Seaford Road. A request to amend the conditions of approval for a previously approved special use permit by authorizing major modifications to the design and layout of an existing retail center, the Marquee, and to authorize the establishment of an automobile fuel dispensing establishment. A request for a special use permit to authorize miniature golf, batting cages, and a golf driving range at 301 Lightfoot Road. A request to amend the York County zoning map by reclassifying land at 900 Marquee Parkway for the purpose of developing 650 dwelling units. An amendment to the York County zoning ordinance to add an opportunity for approval by special use permit of senior housing, independent living facility, multi-unit structures with internal entrances in the Economic Opportunity District. An ordinance to amend sections of the York County Code relating to prohibited plainly audible noise, and a resolution authorizing the county administrator to execute a deed of exchange with the county school board, conveying a piece of land located at 619 Cook Road to the school board in exchange for the school board conveying a piece of land at 9300 George Washington Memorial Highway to the county. Public hearings begin at 7 p.m. For more information about the Board of Supervisors meetings, call the County Administrator's Office at 890-3320. The board's complete agenda, including all supporting materials, is also available on the county's website at www.yorkcounty.gov. Board of Supervisors meetings are retelecast on WYCG TV on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday at 11 a.m., 7 p.m., and 11 p.m., and Saturday and Sunday at 3 p.m. Programs scheduled for 6 p.m. on the board's meeting dates will be preempted by the live meeting.
Again, it's a power dump. You're going to get a lot of good information that happens.
Meetings are also available both live and on demand on the web. WYCG TV programming on the web may be reached by logging on to the county's website and then selecting WYCG on the homepage. Monday was Veterans Day, and the York County Historical Committee held a remembrance ceremony at York Hall. The ceremony began at noon with a tolling of the bell, presentation of the colors, the national anthem and Pledge of Allegiance, laying of honors, and the playing of taps.
And I call it Eulogy or Ode to Joe.
This year's presentation included the stories and photographs of the men and women who served our nation in the various armed services throughout our nation's history. A concert featuring music of the Civil War period followed the ceremony. New Quarter Park has switched to its winter hours. From now to April, hours will be 10 a.m. to dusk on Fridays and 8 a.m. to dusk on Saturdays and Sundays. The park will open on occasional weekday holidays, weather permitting. Also operating on winter hours is the York County Sports Complex. Winter hours at the complex are in effect now through February 28th. The complex will be open daily from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. or will close later to allow nightly activities to conclude. The park will remain subject to closure during periods of inclement weather. A presentation of prescription drug interactions and consultations will be offered at the Senior Center of York on Wednesday, November 20th, beginning at 12:45 p.m. Michelle Shirley, a pharmacist with Rite Aid and an assistant professor at the Hampton University School of Pharmacy, will discuss some of the more common drug interactions. Individual consultations will be available before and after the program by appointment. To register and to schedule an appointment for an individual consultation, call the Senior Center at 898-3807. The October 10th and 11th archaeology dig scheduled at New Quarter Park was canceled due to inclement weather. Fortunately, the event has been rescheduled for Thursday and Friday, November 21st and 22nd. Join local historians and archaeologists as they dig up the history that lives just below the surface. For more information, call 890-3513 or 890-5840. From November 25th through December 16th, the gallery at York Hall will exhibit Senior Center artwork. Senior Center crafters are invited to display their creations during this exhibit. Anyone interested should call the Senior Center at 898-3807. The gallery at York Hall is located on Main Street in historic Yorktown. And finally, York County offices, courts, libraries, social services, Virginia Cooperative Extension, and the Waste Management Center administrative offices will be closed on Thursday and Friday, November 28th and 29th. In addition, York County libraries will close at 5 p.m. on Wednesday, November 27th, with York County courts and Virginia Cooperative Extension closing at noon on that day. Garbage collection normally scheduled for Thursday, November 28th will be collected on Friday, November 29th. Friday's collection will be moved to Saturday. Recycling collection normally scheduled for Thursday, November 28th will be moved to Saturday, November 30th. For more information about these office closings, call the Public Information Office at 890-3300. That's all for this edition of York News. Please join us on November 27th for the next edition of York News. Until then, thanks for watching.